In grade 4, so before we start, I will introduce myself first. So I am your science teacher, Mrs. Miricris Dolor. So our topic for this week, in Unit 1, matters and its properties. So we have subtopic, materials that can absorb water, materials that can float and sink, materials that undergo decay. Our learning competency is classify materials based on their ability to absorb water, float or sink, and decay or non-decaying. Our first topic is materials that can absorb water. So I have a demonstration here about the materials that can absorb water. So I have a water in the container, the sponge, the tissue, and the cotton. First is the tissue. So what do you think, class? Is it absorbed or not? Okay. It is absorbed. Next is the cotton. So what do you think? Is it absorbed or not? Okay. It is absorbed also. How about the sponge? Okay, the sponge is floating, but it is absorbed water. So, ano class ang tawag sa ga-absorb sang water? So, ano ang tawag? So, that is absorbent. Okay. So, when we say absorbent are materials that can absorb water because it has a tiny hole or small hole that can absorb liquid. So, ang tiny hole nga na, may tawag man kita sina, class. So, ang tawag sina is porous. So, ano ang porous? So, ang porous, having a small holes that can allow air or liquid to pass through. So, buot silingon, ang porous, inang hole nga na, gina-allow niya ang tubig or ang air nga magsulod sa isa ka object. So, ano naman ang non-porous, class? So, inang non-porous, wala niya ginaalaw ang water or ang air nga magsulod sa sina nga object. Okay. Next is materials that can float or sink. Okay, materials that can float and sink. Okay, what do you think, guys? Is it sinking or floating? What do you think? It is floating. Next, how about the lifesaver? What do you think, class? It is sinking or floating? Okay, it's floating. How about the rock? Is it floating or sinking? Okay, it's sinking. How about the coin? Okay, it's sinking. How about the plastic balls? Okay, it's floating. Okay, why do things float or sink in water? What do you think, class? Okay, what's the reason? Because of high density. Okay, so kung high density ang isa ka object, so ang object nga na will sink. Pag ang isa naman ka object, low ang density, that object will float. Okay. Okay, what is density? So the density, it is the ratio of mass of an object to its volume. So it means ang density amo ina siyang ga-measure sang mass sang kada volume. So may formula kita sang density. So that is D is equals to M over V. So ang D amoy na siya ang density, ang M amoy na siya ang mass, then ang V amoy na siya ang volume. So ang mass of an object tells how heavy it is. So ang mass amoy na siya ang nagapabalo nga mabugat ang isa ka object. Ang volume naman niya amoy na siya ang ga-describe how much space ang ara sa object. Okay, naintindihan? So ang water, we have the density of water that is 4 degrees Celsius is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So that is the density of water. So always remember, ang solid with high density is sink in water. Those materials with lower density than water will float. So tandaan nyo class, pag mataas sa gani sa 1 gram per cubic meter, ang ina nga bagay sink. Kag kung ang isa naman ka bagay maganubo sa 1 gram per cubic centimeter, ina nga object maging float. Okay, next is materials that undergo decay. So I have a video here.
Lesson 3. Materials that undergo decay. What's the difference? Apple on the left and the apple on the right. Let's answer this question at the end of this video. Let's watch first the video about materials that undergo decay. When we say decay, it is to be slowly destroyed into bits in the presence of water, air, and soil. And how can we tell if the material is decaying? A material is decaying when it has mold, it has foul odor, has worms, and bubbles are forming. Some were compressed under water and thick layers of the soil over millions of years. They were converted into fossil fuels such as coals, oils, and natural gas. The organic matter in soil is derived from plants and animals. It becomes organic fertilizer. The factors that contribute to the decaying process of the materials are sunlight, water, soil, and actions of microorganisms. Leftover foods are kept in the refrigerators to avoid or delay spoilage, since microorganisms that break down food do not grow fast in cold temperatures. Here are some examples of materials that undergo decay: fruits and vegetables, leftover foods, bread, dead plants, dead animals, and animals' manure. What's the difference between apple on the left and an apple on the right. The apple on the left is fresh, while the apple on the right is rotten. This is because the apple is immaterial and it undergoes decay due to the presence of water, air, soil, and the actions of microorganisms.
Why is it, class, that the materials undergo decay? What do you think? It because of due to the presence of light, soil, water, and the action of microorganisms. Very good. Okay, always remember that, class, that the decay, it is slowly destroy into bits in the presence of water, air, and soil and microorganisms. Okay, that's all. Okay, in your module, answer the following. Okay. Take the written assignment from A to C. Then do the connect and apply to real world, A and C only. Then answer the guide question in Cyber World Quest based on the link. Kung hindi na mag-play ina nga link nga hara sa libro, pangita na lang kamo sa YouTube. Dito na lang kamo ma-search related sa aton nga topic. The letter A only. Then answer the ponder and wonder. So that's all. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.